Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the joint study session with our Equity, Cultural, and Social Justice Commission. In compliance with state law, City Council special and regular meetings are held in a hybrid format with in-person, telephonic, virtual options for public viewing and participation. With that, we'll call this meeting to order, and we will do introductions. I'm going to start with Jennifer online.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Harjahausen, a council member, and I'm joining you virtually. I am in hot California.
And then Debbie. Thanks, Jennifer.
Debbie Hartzog, council member.
Just going down the road.
Yep.
Lisa Daniel, Equity Commission.
Joseph Simolo, City Council.
Beth Porter, City Council member.
Jeff Wagner, your mayor.
Janelle Johansson, Equity Commission.
Sean Smith on the City Council.
Daphne Hernandez, City Planner. Selena Lyons, Community Development Director.
Regan Boley, City Manager.
Krista Bates, City Clerk.
I just want to let, we do have some people online, so I don't know if we want to promote them.
Yeah, go ahead and promote them.
So Linda and Ramel will be other
Okay.
commissioners joining online.
So Linda, if you'd like to introduce yourself. If you're there, where are you?
She
Oh,
might
she
need
has a
to
phone number.
accept.
And then Ramel is joining us online as well. So welcome,
there, it's
Ramel
Ramel.
and Linda.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. So has everybody moved over now?
Yeah.
Okay. I can't see from back here, sorry. All right. Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us tonight. We are discussing the work plan for the Equity, Cultural, and Social Justice Commission for the 2025-2026 work plan, and I will turn it over to Janelle.
Thank you so much. So how do these slides work? Okay. Sorry, I'm usually, I work remotely, I don't know. All right, perfect. Okay, well, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. We really look forward to this joint session while we go over our work plan and have a few discussion questions towards the end. Perfect. All right. So the purpose of our discussion today is really, again, just to go over this 2026 work plan for the council to provide some feedback on the priorities and the initiatives that we've put together, and then discuss the commission's role and coordination with other commissions. So, as you know, the commission did not meet quorum in Q3 2024 through Q2 2025. We've been meeting monthly since on fourth Thursdays. We have 7 out of 13 of our commission positions filled as of Q2 2025. And yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so our work plan goals really center around 3 main efforts, or 4, I'm sorry. One is to promote the mission statement of the Equity, Cultural, and Social Justice Commission. The other is to celebrate with an equity lens, the integration of diversity and multiculturalism in our community through a variety of different avenues. The third is to facilitate a dialogue between the community and through open discussions and identify our common objectives. And then fourth is to serve as a liaison between the community and the City Council. So moving through our different initiatives with the Celebrate Diversity as the first one. So here we are trying to think about the different, the presence that we have and ways to celebrate our community. So one is a presence in Covington Days. This month, or Covington Days is this month, and we're unfortunately able to attend, but the plan is to revisit this for next year. We also plan to recommend integration of cultural holidays into city events. Activate city properties for multicultural gatherings. So this is thinking about things like the town center and other public areas in the city. Then monthly cultural calendar recognizing the significant events. So Pride, Juneteenth, and all those other events. As far as community engagement, so there's a few things here. One is to think about partnering with other commissions on equity projects. So, everything should be looked at with an equity lens. And so I think in that frame of thinking, we are thinking about how can we work with other commissions to on other projects and on the efforts that they might be doing. We also want to think about supporting diverse businesses. And then the larger one here is the pilot program for Covington 101, a community civics force. So here we're thinking of it as a pilot program. So I want to be really clear that we're not releasing anything within this year. What we're trying to do is really think about how we can roll this out over the next few years. What does this look like? What do other cities do? How can we engage communities that might be underrepresented in Covington? How can we recruit folks who can come over here? So I think this is a big project, and we're trying to kind of take little pieces and then roll out a program, hopefully, in the coming years. Another strategic alignment, so just reevaluating the strategic plan to ensure that we align it with the comprehensive plan policies, broader citywide equity goals, and adapting goals and action steps based on those changes to in community needs and city priorities. So as far as next steps, we'll welcome any feedback that the City Council has on the work plan. We'd also love to discuss a little bit more about our role and then talk about any suggestions for additional priorities. Before I turn to those next steps, does anyone in the commission have anything to add, whether online or here?
The only thing I'll add is when we talked about supporting diverse businesses, that can be really broad. We were even thinking about how do we bring food trucks into the community, like different types of foods and stuff like that. So it can be super broad. So when we're thinking about how we support diverse businesses, we want to think really about that. So
that's right. And I think one of the things that we also had discussed was, I know that Covington has programs for small businesses. Do we know how that's working? Is it targeting the right audiences? Could we do doing better? Could that be socialized more? So just those are the things that we're thinking about from a really broad perspective. Okay, then I will first turn it to City Council for any feedback they might have.
So in council, I was speaking with Janelle and Sean prior about some of the events and celebrating to also talk about Juneteenth and also June Pride Month as the event. And excuse me, to put that in the work plan is as a potential. You don't have to, I'm just saying, a day event, however you envision it. And then you mentioned Covington Days about, it's too short a time to set up a booth, but we do have commissioners join us at our city booth. So if anybody on the Equity, Cultural, Social Justice Commission would like to sign up to volunteer, they can talk about it at our city booth.
Okay.
About that, because we've had that.
Yeah, so it was brought to our attention by the Human Services that they wanted to do a joint table booth with the Equity Commission. And so they had the discussion of what that would look like and entailing having it fully staffed for 2 days and realizing that it's really hard to do that for one commission. So we did present that to the commission, and they realized that in order to have a full booth just for themselves, they really wanted to think about that. So that's why they're going to do the whole year, realizing what they want to actually do if they want to hold a booth, but also with the option of participating in like the past years in city council or city booth. So yeah, I presented both options.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And the last thing I want to do is just because I'm saying things, I don't want you to feel that you have to do it, because it's better to work, like you said, work slowly into things and build up energy and stuff to get to that final where you want to be. So
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, Debbie.
Thank you. When we talk about multicultural, do you have ideas already of where you can get ideas from the community? I know you talked about maybe talking to other cities, but have you already started any type of a process whereby you go out and really dive into our community and see what kind of cultures we have out there for you to highlight?
So we haven't done that type of research yet, although that is something I would love to do. I think the first step there is really to gather data. I don't know if we have existing data in terms of our population outside of like what can be found on like the Census Bureau and all that stuff. But that would definitely inform, I think data would inform kind of how we move forward
Okay.
with gathering feedback as well.
I have one suggestion.
Yeah.
Our nonprofits that serve kind of a full swath of our community are seeing some very diverse groups coming in, diverse in terms of culture. As an example, the Covington Food Bank, the storehouse, is now stocking and carrying different cultural foods. And so they may have some, it won't be like firm data, but at least give you an idea of the cultures that we're seeing coming in and that they're feeding.
Yeah.
And we've got other nonprofits too that serve the needs of the community that may have some good insight. It's just a thought.
Yeah.
As you mentioned multicultural, and the first thing that came to mind is I can think of many that we're starting to see come in that represent the community. Thanks.
Yeah. Thank you. And I think to your point, I was here for the last city council meeting and the Human Services Commission mentioned food banks and tool libraries. And, you know, they have been, I think they're a very established commission that has been out in the community. I think they would have some valuable feedback in terms of where we should be focusing our energy.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you.
Is there anybody online have any comments? Jennifer?
Linda can go first.
Oh, okay. Oh, sorry, I didn't see you, Linda. Go ahead, Linda.
I didn't either. So I just didn't, and just recently, so I thought it would step aside for a sec.
Yeah, thank you. I thought that we did have some data from a survey that was done last year. I remember not necessarily cultural demographics broken up, but I do remember age demographics. Daphne, do you remember what I'm talking about?
Yes. So that was our housing needs assessment that we did for our comp plan. So we have a basis of age, sex, race, but I don't think it really dives into the multicultural aspect. So we do have some data, and I have provided it to the commission as background, but I think that's as far as we've gotten. Yeah.
Thank you, Linda. Jennifer?
And I just have a couple questions about the slides. Going back to, I think it was the first one or one of the first ones about celebrating the mission or promoting the mission. Where is the mission statement? I think that would be helpful for us to see.
So the mission statement should be part of your packet. It should be page 11.
Okay.
10.
Thank you. And then the other question I had was about alignment with the comprehensive plan. I can say that I have never seen that in a commission. And I just want to make sure that as staff that we're not maybe over infiltrating a volunteer-led commission. That's not something I would ever hear from a resident say. Not that I have a problem with it necessarily, but that just looked a little too much touch by staff, if that makes sense. And I don't mean that in any offensive way whatsoever, but definitely popped out to me as we were going through those slides.
Yeah, and I can speak to that a little bit. So since we just went through the comp plan and Selena and I were a big part of doing that, I think a lot of background and a lot of work went into that. And a lot of the focus for our comp plan update was surrounding equity. So I think that's really why the commission decided to incorporate it, because a lot of the legislative stuff, a lot of the things that cities were mandated to do was to look in our next 20-year plan through an equity lens that hasn't been done before. So that's why, and I provided all the documents and walked them through kind of everything. And we have a lot of policies that I think the commission can really dive into. That does it, need a lot of, that can be a lot of work or doesn't have to be a lot of work, and they can kind of nip and pick. So I think that's kind of the connection, and just realizing that a lot of work went into this comp plan, a lot of research, and just how can the commission be part of, the next 20-year plans, because our previous comp plans really weren't driven by equity.
Yeah, and I can chime in. I think our very first meeting is when I asked Daphne about this, just, kind of being in the other spaces. So I've heard about it. So I had brought it up to Daphne. So our commission ends up talking about it quite a bit over the last few meetings. And we all took the time to kind of, Daphne, we asked her to send us the links and stuff. So we've all taken the time to go through it. And as a group, we agreed that like we want to make sure that we're reviewing that to make that connection. So that's why we're seeing that there.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Sean?
Thank you. Appreciate the presentation and I appreciate the way the goals are laid out. Makes it real easy to follow. Just had a couple of comments and then a couple of questions. Always appreciate the need for additional data, and I like Debbie's suggestion, reaching out to our nonprofits. I think we should also reach out when you're talking about collaborating with other commissions, our Human Services Commission, to see, what nonprofits they're servicing and what information they have on their communities that they're serving. I would also, reach out to all of our churches, the hospital, and any other medical providers to see what communities they're providing for. And then Washington has a Washington Equity and Justice for All Commission. They may have some data. I know at Ecology, we have access to all of the languages that are spoken in Washington State, and they may be able to break it down even by zip code. There is a tool called the Washington Tracking Network. It's used more for environmental concerns, but it has all of that demographic data that you're talking about and splits Covington into two cells. You can get age, you can get some demographics, things like that, just by clicking on the cell. So it's pretty up to date. So those are my suggestions for getting additional data. I like this Covington 101 class. I think Kent just did one. So, stealing as much from them as we can to see what they've done.
It's not stealing, it's borrowing.
No, it's flattery.
And then I do want to hear more about the diverse businesses aspect. I had a similar question that could be very broad. And what does that mean? How do we measure that? Take a temperature now and see if our policies and rules, how are they impacting what we define as a diverse business? And then, 5, 10, every so often we take a temperature again and say, yeah, it's moving in the right direction, or we need to make some changes. To Jennifer's point, I do like the idea of looking at the commission's work plan and the comp plan as well. Like I said, a lot of the mandates we're hearing from the state have to do with equity, and we have a commission that's their mission is to work on that. So I think, obviously we don't want to overwhelm your time, but yeah, we'd appreciate your input on those changes and suggestions on how we make it more equitable. What else did I have? Oh, you talked about the various holidays. I think it'd be great. You're going to develop a calendar, but start listing those.
Yeah.
And I'd love to see, the council to see those. So if we have suggestions on other things to list. And then the city-owned properties, I think the town center events, I think it's a great idea. We have our movie or driving theater nights. I wonder if there are ways we can in the future maybe have movies that are more diverse. I'm not saying our movies aren't diverse, but there are foreign films that might be attractive too, or whatever. So something to think about there. I think I'll stop for now. So anyway.
Thanks, Sean. Joe?
when we're talking about inclusion and even equity, the Kent School District has, or there's, I'm not just gonna talk about the school district, but there is a subset of educators called the Kent Educators of Color. They go around and look for ways to be more involved and promote equity, inclusion, and make sure that we're having that diversity. They might be a group that would be worth working with or connecting with to find other ways. Just a suggestion, take it for what it is.
Great idea.
2 cents. Suggestions.
Yeah.
Kent Educators of Color. Then I know you have done work with the Youth Council, but have you thought about doing with the different holidays? So like Martin Luther King Day, Black History Month, Pride Month, Juneteenth, doing something with them to promote it in the schools, maybe doing like an essay contest in there to help, you doing something to that to kind of really start building it up on that ground level. Because, we're all older and aren't going to sit there and write an essay for you to talk about it. But I mean, Jeff might. And then just even partnering with the KSD to get some of that data that you might be looking for is that's all public information. It's just about seeing how long it takes them to get you that public information. But there's
Well,
a
you
lot of
can
good
go on the
data.
OSPI website for all this.
Yeah, a lot of that's on OSPI, and you can even get. I know I've gotten their OSP through the Kent School District's website to get some of that data. You can get that, but that's like a great place to get some of that data so we can find out where that's at. So that's kind of really all I had to say about that.
Anybody else? Go ahead, Beth.
Sorry, no, I would.
No, you're good.
And I think it might also be helpful to seek out other organizations that are specific to cultural avenues. I mean, if it was up to me, and it's not up to me, but if there's a group of folks that are trying to become culturally relevant or to provide culturally relevant a movie or something like that, like what does that mean? Like I wouldn't know what that means to somebody that doesn't think of me. So like maybe there's an opportunity for some of the like maybe the Sikh community, like go and find out what's important to them, or the if there's an African American or whatever organizations that are nearby might be helpful to integrate them, or maybe invite them to a meet. However you decide to get that information might be another avenue, so that we're not just thinking we know what we need to do and making it relevant to the people that we're trying to support.
Who was the point of contact at Maple Valley? We just got that email. Anyway, I'm saying other cities might have points of contact that you can get some suggestions on ideas on who to talk to as well.
Yeah, no, you're right. That's true. And
it just made me think of that, but have that contact.
Well, and the other thing is for point of contact is the Maple Valley Community Center.
Oh, good point. Yeah.
It's Mark. I can send you the information. Yes. Yep. Yeah, he's very good. Oh, Debbie, sorry.
Well, I was remembering that we had a group of the Sikh community come and speak at one of our council meetings, and we probably have the one person that spoke, his name and contact information.
If not, I've got it in my email.
Oh, you do? Okay. Because they would be very good to give you education. They're a pretty large community.
Yeah.
It's only one of many, but at least if we can come up with some contacts of people that represent a specific group, you'd learn more.
Anybody else?
I have like one just to circle back to the comprehensive plan and like that really broad high up. I mean, to what was raised earlier, I think we're only a small group of people and we're volunteers and we really can't overhaul a system or enhance it with the limited time and bandwidth that we have. And I think one thing our our commission has thought about a lot and had a lot of earlier conversations about is that, you know, as we've all mentioned, like equity isn't everything, right? It should be integrated into all of our policies, our programs. It shouldn't just be a siloed commission, you know, kind of churning out ideas or thoughts. And that's what we were, you know, I think when I think about our commission, a lot of what I'm thinking about is how do we ensure that we are positioned to advise and recommend our suggestions to other councils, to departments within the city, to city council or commissions. So I think that's just one thing that's on my mind. And also, like, what does it look like for us to make recommendations? What do you as city council want to see? Is it memos? Is it, you know, like, do you want to see what's involved or how much is it? Like, I think that would help us too, put together plans for all of you. And recommendations for all of you. And then not only that, but then what does that look like afterwards, right? Like when we bring recommendations to you or we have suggestions, like how do we see that through or how do we make sure that that's getting adopted? Or if it's not getting adopted, it's at least being considered. So that's just, those are the things that are on my mind as this commission kind of conducts its work. I know that's a lot and we're really trying to like limit our scope because there's only so few of us, but that is like the big question that I think is on it.
I think continuing to work through Daphne and Selena as the staff liaison, Daphne's very good at getting the information to us also, but also every month during the reports of the commissions, because that is extremely valuable when we hear from our commissions on the fourth Tuesday of each month. But Daphne has been very good at sending out information over the years since this commission. Well, not just with this commission, but everything else. So, but Sean.
Those are great suggestions. I wish I thought of those.
I read your mind.
Yeah, I was thinking
that,
you know, maybe a future joint meeting, you know, between now and then, the commission, you know, looks at specific aspects of the comp plan, if that's what you want to, and we talk about them, because obviously we come with our own histories and our own backgrounds and our own biases and blind spots where we may not see what, you know, others see. And I think having them in a meeting, open meeting like this, saying, look, this sentence, while may seem neutral, could be impacting X, Y, and Z. And that would be a way for us to go, oh, well, we changed this word or that. So I think that'd be a productive way to use another joint meetings. Come with some suggestions already that we can talk through and think about.
so we just got our comp plan was approved and everything. The next one's not due for like what, 15, 20 years?
Please talk that into existence.
Okay, 30 years.
Yeah. No, our next one's not for 10 years, but we will have a 5-year audit. And that's where, if you remember, we did have those metrics that we're measuring, where we'll have to give some feedback on those metrics. And then through that, as Daphne had talked about, we did overlay that equity onto those metrics. So that's a good example of those layers. And so as we move through that, what that looks like is to be seen, but we're pretty confident that we did pretty good work up front. So the metrics should be informative on the back end.
Great.
Yeah. Right. So 5 years, short answer there.
So maybe
Not an overhaul. We got to talk about it then.
Yeah.
So maybe it is a joint meeting, but maybe going through the equity metrics, because you have a newer commission and I did provide the equity metrics. And it's a new fresh eyes, new commission. So I think it'd be important to maybe walk through that and seeing, because we are going to be audited, as Selena mentioned, in 5 years. So maybe just having that in the foreground as a hey, we need to look at this kind of a thing and what's not being met or what should be met. I think the intent is not to change policies, but look at the policies that have been created. Is there action plans, action items that come out of it that the commission believes should be considered in addition to the equity metrics?
So we'll leave that up to you and Selena to schedule the next one. We don't need to be telling you. You have plenty on the plates.
That'd been great. Thank you.
Me and Selena have discussed like how are we going to bring this back? So I think this is a great.
Yeah, it is it's perfect timing.
Anybody else have any questions, comments? Beth?
So one of the things that I think about and in my work, we're very sensitive at my employer to diversity, equity, inclusion, you know, whether it's disabilities or, you know, that type of thing, ADA and whatnot. I mean, and I know we are in the city as well, but I would be curious to find out if there's an opportunity to find out how our residents feel about interacting. Like, are there barriers for them? Like, we know that, like, it's really great with the Facebook app. They can, most people can get a translator so that they don't have, you know, we don't have to do the translating. They can read what's going on. And I don't know that there is an issue at all. I'm not saying there is, but it would be nice to be able to validate that if somebody is, you know, has mobility issues, is it easy for them to get into the building or to book an appointment or, I'm just throwing some of those things out so that we are creating the culture in our city that is very obvious that if somebody needs additional help, we'll try to figure out how to get that to them so that they feel included that way without making a big to do about it. Just the basics of being a resident in the city. Don't really have any other ideas. I don't know how y'all feel about that or if you've had any feedback. I'm sure we would have heard about it if anything's wrong, but.
What else would you like from council? Or Daphne or something, is there something?
I know you wanted to talk about.
Oh, yes. Money.
Meeting's over.
Yes, sorry. I think this is more so obviously we don't have funding. But you know, I think if we are wanting to hold larger events, like I think without the funding, we can just do like social media posts, we can do some small things. But we really can't do like larger things. What does that look like? Because we are not funded. Like, what is that executing some of these things that look like when we don't have the capacity to do so?
So I think because budget season is coming, when the decision cards are due at the end of July, is that correct, Regan?
Yeah, within the next week or so, we should.
Next week, by the
25th.
middle of July. Pardon?
25th.
Okay, so if you have things worked through Daphne on requests, I mean, don't ask for the moon, because it's a tight budget year. But you know, make suggestions.
Yeah.
Knowing, but don't, so let's say you've got 5 events you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
You can request those, just know that they may not all get funded. So, but and I use this analogy too much that my girls are tired of it, but you've got to, you know, you got to start planting the seeds for things to grow. And if you start laying it out, laying the foundation so that we all know what your ideas might be, that in the years coming, or let's say a grant comes available that we can get funding for that. So there's all those possibilities. And it's like, we planted a garden, an actual vegetable garden at our house, and the girls are amazed at how fast everything is growing. So it's, especially the sunflowers, but it's that, so bring that up, but don't think that, well, maybe we don't want to do this. Now, if it's going to be over $10,000 or $15,000, that's probably not gonna, but you know, the smaller amounts and events, you know, and even if it's just like a proclamation. So like with the commission before, they would bring different ideas for proclamations that we would celebrate here during a council. And we used to do a Juneteenth proclamation, and I apologize, I didn't even think about it because David Scalabrini would always keep it on my mind to do that. But working with Daphne on those, getting those ideas. I don't know when your next commission meeting is. It's the 4th Thursday. So the 4th Thursday is the 24th. So that gives you one extra day.
All right. Sounds good.
Yeah, I think that's right. And what I would do is, you know, maybe look at your work plan and think about those things that may have a cost associated with them, and just highlight those. And, you know, like the mayor said, just kind of ballpark what you think that's gonna cost. Just knowing that the more expensive it is, the fewer things we can do. But, you know, I would also be thinking about potential like speaker events. Maybe we could sponsor something like that for a couple $100 to $1,000, get someone here to talk to their experience. That essay contest, is there, you know, some advertising we can do related to that for the schools? So those sorts of things. And if that, you know, a few $100s would help with that, that's something the council can think about. So yeah, I would encourage you, like Jeff said, to just think about your ideas, and it doesn't have to be that detailed. Regan can help kind of draft some of those and get them in a way into a format that then we can review during our budget deliberation. So it sounds daunting, but it's not. It's just what's the thing you want to do, and then a rough estimate of what it costs, and that should be sufficient for right now. So
Yeah.
Well,
And
there's-
maybe prioritize if
And
you've got a couple
prioritize.
things,
Yeah.
that way
Yeah.
we had to, you know. we could-
When there's the possibilities of sponsorship.
yeah, exactly.
Like what the event in June, there's a lot of sponsorships and other coming together with that. And when you talk about an essay, so the Kent Kiwanis Club does an essay contest, and diversity, they have 4 questions that the middle schoolers they get to choose which one they want, and then it's about a life experience. And I go and I don't judge them. I just listen and then speak to each of the students, because the school district or the I don't remember if it's the Kiwanis Club, school district lists first, second, third, and honorary out of everybody, and it's for each grade. And then now the Kent Chamber is copying it, but the Kiwanis Club has been doing this for 50+ years. And it's a very good event. And they host a lunch, and then the kids get to read their essays, and each one, and listening to each kid. And it's all about diversity and their experiences in life, and like when they came from why they left where they were, and where they came here, and what they're doing or what they want to do in the future. And listening to each of those is, so next time the next one, it's always in April. So I'll make sure everybody knows. So if anybody wants to go, it's a really good experience.
What is it called?
It's the Kent Kiwanis Club. It's the Kent School District Middle School Essay Contest. And it's done through their humanities classes for 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. Debbie?
And also just a thought, the Human Services Commission does 1, maybe 2 community outreach events a year. And you might be able to piggyback off of that, have your commission be there, let them use their budget dollars if they have any, if they get any this outcome. They don't spend much, and they don't provide much, but they go to a number of places. So they go to senior center. We don't have senior centers, excuse me. They go to the senior apartments one time. They go to one of the other larger apartment buildings one time.
We go to the
And
library.
They may have, and they've done it here as well. But it's pretty well attended. So you might be able to get in on that one, just to, you know, be there and answer questions or talk to people and not have to spend anything. And then another suggestion would be, bring up the Kiwanis. Covington also has a Rotary Club, and they will give out small grants for a community event. On the Covington Rotary website, you could find their grant request, and you could, you know, put in something for a couple $100 with a stated purpose of what you want to do with that, and it would be reviewed and may likely get approved.
That's great. Thank you for all your suggestions. Really lovely.
Anything else we can?
No, I think that's it. Is anyone else from the commission
Anybody
have
else?
any questions?
Questions, comments? Well, I just want to say, when I saw that we were finally having a joint session with the the commission, I'm still extremely excited.
Yeah.
And, normally I let everybody else talk, but for tonight I started talking first, so I apologize to all of our council members. But, I'm looking forward to what the commission brings forward that each of you can do. And it's just going to bring a lot more excitement to our city. So thank you. All right, anybody else? Yeah.
I'm thankful that we all have a quorum finally. It's really great to be able to see the off and again, and anything that we can do to help promote like the openings and so forth, just so that we get more applicants and can do more interviews so that more hands make light the work, right? So, have the full commission, it would be beneficial for everybody. So let's know how we can help with that.
With that, we'll call this joint session adjourned.